Okay, let's dive into the source material then. We've got this collection of, well, short dialogues. They're designed specifically for practicing everyday English conversations.
Mm.
Think of it like a practical map, maybe,
Hmm.
of common interactions, but brought to life with specific phrases.
Yeah, exactly.
So our mission for this deep dive,
Mm-hmm.
can these, seemingly simple exchanges actually give you a real shortcut? A way to be well-informed and confident navigating daily life in English?
Like, what are the patterns underneath it all?
Right. What can we pull out?
Yeah.
Because I think this is where it gets quite interesting.
Well, what's really fascinating about this source, and it's got, 42 distinct little dialogues,
42, yeah.
is how it seems to capture the fundamental sort of choreography of daily English.
Choreography, I like that.
It's not just words in isolation, right? It's about how people actually talk to each other in these very specific, very common situations.
Yeah, it really is like seeing the blueprints for conversation.
Right.
When you look across all 42 of them, these little snapshots, you definitely start seeing patterns, core areas where we spend a lot of our talking time.
Absolutely. And maybe it's not surprising, but a huge chunk just falls into, well, transactions and services.
Mm-hmm.
Those times you're exchanging goods or money or asking for help with some kind of service.
Right. You see it popping up everywhere in these dialogues. The coffee shop one, for instance.
Yeah.
Asking for something specific, like a medium latte with vanilla syrup, and then hearing the price back, $4.50.
Or the grocery store interaction.
Yep. Confirming you've got everything, the total maybe comes to $25.75. And even that little detail of saying, keep the change.
Or asking for fresh apples, finding where the milk is, aisle 5.
Right?
And it's broader than just shopping. The source includes banking scenarios too.
Okay.
Like opening a checking account, you need your ID, there's a form to fill out. That whole process,
yeah,
the practical stuff. And the post office needing to send a package, say, to New York and deciding, okay, do I need express delivery?
Mm-hmm.
It also covers making appointments. Could be a doctor's appointment, confirming a specific time, like 3 p.m. is available.
Or hotels.
Yeah.
Booking a room, maybe for 2 nights, giving
Right.
dates like Juneteenth to the 12th.
Choosing single or double bed, checking in under a name. They use Emma as an example, getting your room key.
It's all very step by step.
Even when things go wrong, like in a restaurant,
Oh, yeah.
ordering, say, a grilled chicken salad, asking about drinks, maybe just water, but then also, having to complain because your order arrived cold, that's in there too.
Okay, so even complaining is framed as a kind of service interaction.
In a way, yeah. And the very modern one, calling customer service because your internet's down.
A classic. What strikes me, though, is how even when the topic changes, completely coffee, banking, internet problems, the basic structure of how you ask for something or how you raise an issue, it uses similar bones,
That's a really crucial point. And moving on from just transactions, another big category is just, getting around.
Navigating the physical world.
Exactly. Asking for directions is a big one.
Obviously.
The source shows you how to ask, like, where the nearest subway station is, and the answer format, walk straight 2 blocks, then left.
Or finding the library again. Straight 2 blocks, then turn left. You notice that repetition in the way directions are given, like go or walk direction distance, then turn direction.
Yeah, that structure. And it's not just walking. It covers finding your flight gate, gate 12, straight ahead, then right, or using public transport, asking which bus goes downtown, bus number 5, or, how often it runs. It's all about getting from point A to point B with these standard kinds of phrases.
Okay, so transactions, getting around. Now, probably the biggest bucket these dialogues cover, and maybe the most varied one, is just socializing, small talk.
Right. A lot of those 42 segments seem to fit here.
Which makes sense, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So much of daily life is just those casual interactions.
Totally. And the dialogues cover the classics, icebreakers like hobbies, reading, playing soccer, painting, hiking, all those things.
And the weather. Can't forget the weather.
Never. Sunny today, perfect for a walk, or maybe hoping it stays like this, or complaining about recent rain, looks like rain later.
Simple family questions, too, like how many siblings do you have? Do you get along well? Basic stuff.
And meeting new people, it breaks it down really simply. Introductions, asking what's your name, where are you from? They mention California.
Giving compliments seems straightforward, too. I like your shoes, or you have a great sense of style. It shows how actually quite direct and simple these can often be.
Yeah, no need to overcomplicate it. And then there's planning things.
Ah, yes.
Inviting friends out, like, want to see a movie this weekend? So, suggesting a time, maybe 7 p.m. Or let's grab coffee tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Talking about weekend plans is in there too. Going hiking, visiting family, maybe hiking out a museum. These dialogues really reveal the sort of core verbs and questions you need just to make basic plans.
Movies seem to pop up quite a bit.
They do. Talking about what you like, love comedies versus action, naming a favorite like The Avengers, or talking about seeing a new superhero movie.
Even just basic facts about your daily routine. What time do you wake up? Around 7 a.m. or maybe 6:30 a.m. It's all very grounded in the everyday.
Technology gets a mention. Smartphones, apps for learning English, pets too. Do you have a dog? Yes, his name's Max.
Favorite food, pizza with extra cheese. Favorite music, pop versus rock. It really demonstrates that even with all these different topics, the way you ask the question and the way you give the answer often stays pretty consistent.
The source also dips into slightly more, maybe formal contexts, like learning or self-improvement.
Yeah, a little bit. There's talk about school or college favorite subjects, history versus math.
And even practicing for a job interview.
Right, answering questions like, why do you want this job? Talking about using your skills, wanting to grow with the company, those kinds of phrases.
And asking for advice shows up too, specifically about improving English. Practice speaking, listen to podcasts, sound advice.
And sort of underlying a lot of these situations, whether it's shopping or customer service or directions, is just the basic need to ask for help or offer it.
Yeah, finding the milk in the store, like you said,
Right.
or getting that internet issue sorted. These require specific ways of asking that just keep appearing again and again.
Okay, so we've laid out the scenarios, the different situations covered. But maybe the real shortcut here, the really powerful insight these dialogues offer you, is how they reveal the core language functions that repeat across all these different contexts.
Yes, this is where you see the actual backbone of everyday English conversation, I think.
Exactly right. Take making requests. Whether you're ordering that coffee I'd like, or asking for help, can I, or needing a service at the post office I need to send. The basic structure for asking for something is remarkably stable.
And this source just drills those patterns repeatedly.
It does. And the flip side, asking for information.
All the questions.
Right, from how much is it at the shop, to where is for directions, what's your card number? For a transaction, do you have checking availability, what time, for appointments, or even how do you, asking for advice.
Those questions and the do you have or can I structures are just everywhere.
Constantly. And then, of course, giving the information back.
Providing the answer.
Simple, direct answers like, it's on aisle 5, my card number is, yes, here it is, around 7 a.m. The source consistently shows this clear, concise way of responding.
Offering help or service is another one of those core functions, isn't it?
Definitely. The classic, can I help you? Or sure, what can I get for you? Or even acknowledging a problem and offering a fix. I'm sorry about that, I'll bring you a fresh one.
Those phrases are just essential for all those service scenarios we talked about.
And crucially, kind of lubricating all these interactions are the politeness markers.
Ah, yes. Please and thank you.
Well, it's more than just that, actually. The source shows you how phrases like, excuse me, do you have milk? Aren't just tacked on. Or responses like, you're welcome, or showing empathy like, I'm sorry to hear that, when someone has a problem. They're not just optional extras, they're really integral to the flow of the conversation.
Yeah, they make it work smoothly. And notice how the dialogues often wrap up.
Standard closings.
Yeah, like have a nice day, and the typical reply, you too. Or just simple gratitude, thanks a lot.
And the source itself even explicitly tells you after each little dialogue, repeat after us.
Right. Hammering home that these are specific patterns meant to be learned, internalized.
Which I think raises a really important point. These dialogues, they're not just teaching you what to say in one specific situation, like ordering coffee.
No?
They're designed to show you reusable linguistic building blocks. By getting comfortable with these core ways of asking for things, the main question types, the essential politeness formulas you see across all 42 examples, you're not just learning phrases, you're learning the underlying system of everyday English interaction.
And that's the shortcut. It feels simple, because the dialogues themselves are short and about common things. But the real power is seeing how those simple structures apply equally well to ordering that latte, asking for directions to the library, or making small talk about the weather or movies.
Exactly.
Recognizing that actually a relatively small set of these patterns covers a huge range of daily life. That's incredibly empowering, I think. It means being well-informed in this context isn't about knowing everything. It's about recognizing these fundamental conversational frameworks.
It really suggests that you can successfully navigate a massive percentage of common everyday interactions without needing, enormous vocabulary or incredibly complex grammar. It's more about understanding and being able to use that essential choreography we talked about earlier.
So, okay, wrapping this up, what does this all really mean for you, the listener? This collection of everyday conversations, buying coffee, planning a weekend, asking for help, complaining about cold food, it reveals something pretty powerful, I think. While the specific words obviously change depending on the topic, the fundamental ways we start, continue, and end interactions, asking, telling, requesting, offering, thanking, maybe apologizing, they're surprisingly consistent. And the core structures we use for them are actually quite limited.
Understanding that gives you a direct path, really. A genuine shortcut to feeling well-informed and capable in countless real-world situations in English.
Absolutely. Which, I suppose, raises an important question for you to think about. If mastering these core patterns is really the key, which of these everyday scenarios we've talked about feels like the one where applying this insight could make the biggest difference for you right now?